Yes guys, welcome to a brand new video. My name is Conan and today I'm going to walk you guys through my entire bodybuilding experience. So for those of you new here, I competed for the first time ever back in 2021, so that's like 4 years ago now. It was a great experience and I got a lot of backlash. A bunch of hate comments, especially on TikTok, Instagram as well, even on YouTube too. Of people telling me that I was too skinny, I wasn't big enough, didn't have enough muscle, blah blah blah. And I'm the first to admit that I definitely was not on that level, obviously. Not to mention I competed in an untested show, so I was standing on stage with a bunch of unnatural people who were obviously taking a boatload of steroids, drugs, all that stuff. I did not do it with the intention of winning, obviously. I did it for the experience. Also to kind of document the journey, document the process of actually taking you guys with me through my dieting, my workouts, and then also my mindset. What was kind of going through my head as I was on super low calories, but still had to put in the work regardless of how I felt, right? Because yeah, we kind of take for granted sometimes, then we have all this food around us and we get to energize ourselves, we get to fuel up, have amazing sleep too, but whenever we're deprived of diet, especially our food, the will of living simply is not there. And then despite that, still putting in the effort of doing your workouts, still going to work as well, because a lot of people also have day jobs, other pursuing their bodybuilding career. And so I basically told myself that the next time that I do compete will be when I'm a lot bigger. I didn't really have many plans to compete again after my initial bodybuilding show back in 2021. Fast forward 4 years later, obviously did my own thing, started my own online coaching business, did a big road trip, traveled across the country, traveled across the world now as well, currently talking here in Dubai, networked with a bunch of people, just kept leveling up and stuff. And then yeah, start of 2025, I got presented this, I guess, opportunity, if you want to call it that, by one of my friends who was planning on competing literally the next month. He reached out to me January 1st and he told me, hey man, I'm competing at a show in LA on January 27th or something like that. I'm like, oh, cool, man. And during this time, one thing that I have not mentioned is that I was actually prepping for my marathon, which was going to be the following month in February. So I'll be honest, I was already in like pretty good physical shape in terms of my leanness. Obviously didn't have a bunch of muscle. My priority was really into maintaining as much muscle as I could while obviously improving my running, right? Because I was preparing for the marathon. But he basically told me that, and he did not tell me like, hey, you should compete with me. But I started to think about it. I'm like, okay, he's competing in just under 4 weeks. I am pretty lean right now. I've competed once before. F it, why not just do this with him? And so, I kid you not, I had just under 4 weeks to prep for this, and so I started being super meticulous with my dieting, my cardio, and I'll be honest, I was at a pretty good spot in terms of I was already tracking my food, I was already doing my cardio too, I was already doing my workouts. The only real thing that I had to change was simply my food intake, my diet, which honestly was horrible. I was expending a lot of calories running, working out, high step count too, while obviously trying to scale and grow my business, which that takes a lot of bandwidth and brain power too. And then on top of that, I decided, yeah, let's do this bodybuilding show. So I kind of threw myself in the deep end, if you will, started taking it really, really seriously. So every single day, I woke up super early in the morning to do my hour of fasted cardio, pretty much slashed my calories by a lot because I knew in order to get the leanest that I could, I didn't have as much time to really take my time with it. So yeah, got down to, at the end, was around 1,500 calories, which was horrible. The lowest amount of food that I've ever eaten, and yeah, it was just basically not fun. I basically just lived in my apartment that entire 4 weeks, did not have enough energy to socialize, to go out with my friends, to do anything really, because I was just so focused on obviously my goal, while also having all these other priorities of, yeah, paying my employees, taking care of my clients, my social media as well, right? And then obviously my own health. So I had a lot on my plate. So I really kind of self-isolated myself during this time, which yeah, a lot of people are not willing to kind of make that sacrifice, but I was okay with it because I knew what I kind of signed up for, especially with such short notice. So during that time, I practiced my posing. Obviously I talked to my friend who was also going to compete. We planned out the entire LA trip. We got flight tickets. We ordered a Airbnb. Fast forward a couple weeks later, I got into probably the best shape of my life. We flew over to LA. We got our spray tans. We started to carb up 2 days before the show with just a bunch of white fish and sweet potato, no salt, no water. Which again, like, I'm not a professional. I don't even condone this to my audience or my clients either. I think it's super extreme, not sustainable, and obviously, as you guys know, I preach longevity, sustainability, and I always tell you guys, if you cannot do it for a day, don't do it for the rest of your life, basically. But I also do encourage to challenge your body, and sometimes that does mean to kind of tip your toes in the water of doing something that's uncomfortable, but then obviously not sticking in that zone, because especially when it comes to bodybuilding, it is not sustainable. Your body fat percentage, especially as a natural, should not be maintained at such low body fat percentages. Your testosterone plummets. You kind of hate life. But we did the bodybuilding show. I did 3 different classes. So I did a novice class, a true novice class, and an open class. I won the true novice class, which was awesome. And I also won the true novice class, and then I came second in the open class. So for those of you who don't know, novice class, true novice is basically first-time competitors in that specific division. And then the open class is for all the competitors based on your height, at least for the men's physique category that I was competing in. So it was a phenomenal experience, and what made it even better was being able to do it with my friend, because had I had done that on my own, I would have still obviously done it, but just having someone there to not just hold me accountable, because I would have done it regardless, but just to kind of share the experience with was amazing. And then after the show, we explored LA, we had a bunch of sushi afterwards, and overall just a really good experience. And then after we came back, February 1st, I had just under 3 weeks to continue prepping for my marathon, which, by the way, guys, in case you have not followed along, this is not what I recommend anyone to do. Super extreme, super unsustainable. And if you do have aspirations of doing well at either a marathon or a bodybuilding show, you should not try to compete at both at the same time. It's almost like trying to be the best at two things at the same time. It just doesn't work. You're most efficient when you just laser focus on one specific thing. If you multitask, you probably notice that you are half-assing both tasks as opposed to laser focusing on one specific task, doing a great job of that, and then moving over to the next task. What I had to do was increase my calories quite substantially to get myself back to not only a higher body fat percentage, which is a lot healthier, also just get my energy levels back, because I was literally a walking zombie. And I'll be honest, like even leading up to the marathon, I still was not eating enough. My energy levels was still horrible, but I kind of grinded through it. And to be super honest with you guys, I think I only ran since my bodybuilding show leading up to my marathon maybe 2 or 3 times. Like I really wasn't doing much running at all. So I was really nervous going into it. And in case you guys don't know, I actually did do a marathon the year prior to that in Galveston, Texas, and I did horrible. On the 18th mile mark, my body just collapsed and I could not move my body, something I've never experienced before. So when I did this marathon, my only goal was just to keep on running and not stop. Marathon day comes around, I start running, and yeah, I did not stop. And I actually had this burst of energy because I was, again, really scared on the 18th mile mark that I was going to collapse or my body would just break down. And I noticed that it did not, which was great. Did notice some cramping, did notice my hips, hamstrings as well, just starting to tighten up, but it wasn't super unbearable. The mistake I made last time was not hydrating enough with electrolytes, which is probably why I kind of collapsed on the 18th mile mark. But this time, I stayed hydrated throughout, drank electrolytes, even had some of those gels as well, which they gave out on every couple miles or so. So I was super fueled up on the race day at least, kind of grinded through it. The last couple miles I really like sprinted, so I kept on running. My body was actually killing me. I was like, I'm gonna regret this after, but I was like, F it, let's just keep going. I kept on going, and we officially did a sub 4 hour marathon. It was by, I think like a minute or so. It did 3 hours and 59 minutes, which honestly, like I started tearing up afterwards because everything just kind of hit me at once, where I did a bodybuilding show, I placed second or first and second. Immediately after, I did a marathon, did the best I've ever done with little to no practice. And now this isn't me being proud of like, oh, look how good I am without even practicing. Like I hate that, because I think you should always prepare for something just to give the competition respect. And then also like, you don't want to go into something knowing that you could have done more, right? But I did go into this with the little amount of prep that I did have, everything that I could, right? Everything within my power that, okay, regardless of how much or how little prep I had leading up to this, I'm going to give this my all. And that's really kind of hit me. And I started tearing up after the race. A lot of you guys watching right now, like you will never know how hard I actually work, right? And it doesn't matter. Like I'm not trying to convince you how hard I work, or you don't have to convince me how hard you work, because ultimately I can tell, right? It's based on your results, based on how you look, based on your performance, based on whatever metric you want to measure. I'm a big believer that actions speak louder than words. In order for me to like feel good about myself and to actually sleep well at night, was asking myself this question: did I do everything within my power, within my control, to do the best that I can? And if the answer is yes, then I'm happy with that. I do not need to seek external validation. I do not need to seek anyone's approval, because I know for myself that I did the best that I could. And I'll be honest with you guys, sometimes your best is not good enough. Like I tried my absolute best to become a pro soccer player, for example. I thought that I was on track with that. I got a scholarship to play soccer, and as soon as I graduated high school, moved across the States, province, as they call it in Canada, I kind of got slapped in the face, and I realized that I was not good enough. Did not play a single game in my first season, and I was like, damn, despite me trying my best, staying late after practice, doing all these things, my best is not good enough. And it sucks. It really does suck. But at least I went to bed every single night knowing that I gave it my all. Certain things in life you cannot control, but what you can control is your work ethic and your mentality and the way you view things, your perspective. Because a lot of people can go through similar situations in life. One of them could be very pessimistic and say, oh, the world's against me, this sucks, why is this happening to me? Versus the other person, exact same situation, can say, wow, this is a great opportunity for me to learn something out of this, to take something away from this. The entire moral of this story here, there is no moral here. I wanted to share my bodybuilding experience and my marathon prep. And I guess the moral could be that whatever you decide to pursue in life, despite how well genetically you may be at a certain sport or at a certain task, one thing that I learned for myself was that if I really wanted to be a good marathon runner or a good bodybuilder, is that I need to give each individual thing my individual focus. Doing both things at once, despite me placing pretty well at the show and getting a sub 4 hour marathon, I know knowing that, right? That, okay, well, what if I actually prepped for the bodybuilding show or actually full on prep for the marathon? I could have done a whole lot better. Tying this back into fitness, a lot of people who come up to me and ask me, hey, Conan, how do I lose body fats and gain muscle? Now, for a lot of beginners, you can get away with that because your body is so just like unused to the stimulus where you can both build more muscle once you start resistance training and also lose body fat as you start to eat more protein and eat in a calorie deficit. But if you truly want to maximize your results, if you truly want to go all in on building more muscle or losing more body fat, you have to focus on either being in a calorie deficit for fat loss to occur or being in a slight calorie surplus to maximize your muscle growth. I'll leave you guys with that. If you guys have any questions for me, please let me know, and I'll see you all soon. Peace. Now, if you need help losing 30 to 50 pounds in the next 6 months, go ahead and schedule a free fitness consultation with us down below. We'll look at where you're currently at, we'll look at your struggles, and we'll create a game plan together to help you absolutely crush your goals in the next couple of months.